Um, Really fun, man. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, nothing negative. Nothing negative.
Welcome back to the Squidboards Splat Series, first edition. I'm Nine-Hole Grains, joined here by PK Sparks, the man, the myth, the legend, and we've got an exciting match here for you. We're switching things up a little bit. We are going to be casting the Inkstorm Plus champions, set to destroy X, sponsored versus Kairos. This should be an amazing match to see in top-level Splatoon.
I'm excited to see these two come through. I do believe that Set to Destroy is number one. It's number one seeded, correct?
Yeah, they're the number one seed, and they have not dropped the game so far.
So we get to see a lot of great maps, a lot of great players, and a lot of great teamwork coming out between these two, as we have guaranteed to see Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard, which we have to see. Splat Zones on Port Mackerel, which is going to be a slobber knocker because everything is going to be condensed to that one area and those high points. We'll talk about that in a second. And we're going to guarantee to see Tower Control on Monte Maria. And if we get so far, if we need a game 4, Rainmaker on the Reef will come up. And then lastly will be Splat Zones on Humpback Pump Track.
What a fun map and mode combination. STDx, formerly known as Deadbeat. Again, if you're joining us from the E3 Invitational, yes, it is that Deadbeat, or formerly that Deadbeat. Rocking out Hexen, Penguin, and Power. Their new player, Kiver, coming over from Creme Fraiche, replacing Tim. Certainly a powerful shooter in his own right, not a downgrade whatsoever. Kairos, rocking with Redvec, Dementio, Zooter, Jeremy, and Hype, and I mean, we talked about this before. Kairos, one of those teams that has always been up there in the upper echelon, making top 8s, making top 16s at majors. They don't have that huge win yet in Splatoon 2. This would be the start of something amazing if they could get the win. For STDx, they're just looking to add to their already stacked resume. So, I mean, these are two completely different teams in terms of the way they attack things, so this should be great.
Definitely looking forward to seeing Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard as well, because there are two ways to make a really quick push. The one of them is kind of unknown. You definitely don't see it in the lower ranked, trying to figure out how to say this. Like C minus, B minus, you don't really see his play, but you'll see people where they'll go on the big boxes to the left of your area. So if you're coming out of there, there's going to be a box to the left. And if you ink that and you make a squid jump to over there, you can actually make a quick jump and start running like a mad dash forward from there. You just got to jump, and you'll get there. You also have another way where you can go to the right side, go up the wall, and make a mad dash as well if you make a quick left. So there's two ways, and then of course you have the most direct way, which is up the big ramp. But let's be serious, we're gonna go up the big ramp. So it's all about who is going to get to that point and which way they're going to take, because if you make a wrong guess or if you don't have a way covered, they're going to be racking up points and getting closer to that podium.
Yeah, and that's really, it's so many maps in Splatoon are like that, especially at Rainmaker. There really are two different ways, each with big drawbacks and each with big positives. And that's not something that you always saw in Splatoon 1. You did see it on certain maps, but for a lot of times there was a fastest way and a way that you would put your resources, and it would be a battle of, can we put more guns on where they're trying to go before they put more guns there? I mean, that's really what it would be a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Now, it's a battle of who can put their resources where and who can respond to where those resources are put. And when I say resources, for those who aren't familiar, this isn't StarCraft. It's not actual resources. We're talking about the turf that they take. We're talking about where they put their players, where they put their specials, things like that. And it always becomes an interesting tug of war, especially when you get to the top level.
Actually, talking about covering up turf, remember when we were playing on Splat Zones on Sturgeon Shipyard, and when you had control, you took over the pit, and you just lost control at that point. I'm sorry, because it's tough to do, but this time, that pit control doesn't matter quite as much because they still have to push into your turf. So even if they end up losing the pit control and they ended up pushing to the area, don't give up, because you actually spawn right near that podium, and you can put any shots there or throw any bombs there to cut off and get a few splats on the opposing team and try to push them back.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that makes Rainmaker so unique, is even if you lose turf, it's not like Splat Zones where, yeah, that can be it. You have a chance. It's not a big chance, but at least you have something. But I want to actually talk Splat Zones on Port Mackerel here, because for those who played Splatoon 1, that was the most lockout-heavy map and mode combination in the game. You had two small zones, one near your spawn and one near their spawn. You had essentially two different ways to get back into it. You could take the upper raise level, or you could go down one of the two very narrow and very predictable paths. And you really did, I mean, you had to rely on specials to get back into it because there just wasn't a way. Now, absolutely not the case. You've got 3 or 4 different ways to get back to the middle on both sides. They're relevant. You have sponges. You can get up to that raise level a lot more easier and rain ink down, and that zone, very big, right in the middle. You can put ink on it from darn near everywhere. And it's one of the more exciting ones. I think perhaps the best match of Splatoon I've played. G7, Team Olive versus Extermination, came down to literally a second. The last possible second, Team Olive took it back and got their win for them. But, I mean, that's what can happen on Port Mackerel Splat Zone. So very excited to see that when we have 2 upper echelon teams like these.
Well, we're going to see which one they're going to be going out with. Sturgeon Shipyard is going to be the first one to just... this is going to be a really good one. I can't wait to see the way that these teams take point and how they're going to be attacking it, because normally I've seen people, at least personally, I've seen people go for a swim speed up and just try to make a beeline to it. But there's no quick beeline on Sturgeon Shipyard to get there. You're going to have to fight your way through. I mean, unless, again, you, like I said earlier, you catch them off guard and you go take a path that they're not defending. So, I mean, if you take that quick path, then you got it. Otherwise, you're going to have to fight your way there. And seeing the way if they're going to bring jet squelchers or blasters, but then we're seeing custom blasters or lunar blasters, which has really close range, but has wide blast range power. There's a lot of options, a lot of choices, a lot of ways, and a lot of approaches that these teams could take, so that way we get there to the front. I want to get started. This is going to be hype. But also, going after that, we do have to say we're moving on to Port Mackerel. Actually, is the round starting? Oh, well, there we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
We'll talk about Port Mackerel in a little bit. Let's go. Set to destroy plus a sub versus Kairos.
Looks like down 1. We do have a DC. Unfortunately, that is something that happens a lot in Splatoon. They're going to go ahead and just wait it out here. I believe they get 1 DC reset here. So they're not even going to play. They're just going to let the other team take it here, run it in. So unfortunately, you got to wait just a little bit longer, my man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. If we can look at the team composition for a little bit, it looks like they're coming in with double STDx splatter shot. There's 2 inkjets right there, a Vapid Blaster and a Tri-Slosher versus the Hero Roller replica, Heavy Splatling, Vapid Blaster, and Tri-Slosher. So they're even 50% between the Tri-Slosher and the Vapid Blaster. But the STDx are going to be really interesting right there, because we have double inkjets, which got a significant nerf in the recent patch. I couldn't tell you why, but they definitely did get a nerf. But when you're in the area properly, you're gonna get high above them. You're gonna be able to cover a lot of turf and put pressure on the enemy team. So it's all about when you're able to activate that. Because double inkjet, 2 enemies going up in the air, even though their hitbox has been increased, doesn't mean that 2 inkjets and explosions happening at one time is gonna be a scary sight.
And, you know, there's really a statement being made there by STDx with that comp that they're running. They've put a premium on aggressively taking turf here and continuing to put pressure on. Whenever you stack double T-Tech and Tri-Slosher, that is what you're trying to do. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do differently, how they're going to combat the range there of that Splatling. That Splatling is going to be the key player here from Kairos, because nothing is really going to be able to challenge it straight up. There's no range, but they're going to have to deal with a lot of turf going against them. So this will be very interesting to see which of these two, I guess, kind of approaches to this map will. If that Splatling's able to get set up in the middle, it's going to be very difficult to try to get back in. But conversely, if you put that on its back, that Splatling on the back foot, you're going to be able to continue taking turf all over the map, get more inkjets, and continue to put pressure on. So it's going to be exciting. STDx rolling out the meta for sure.
I do want to mention for a second, though, that Tri-Slosher, we mentioned earlier that it did get a nerf slightly. You can no longer get a Splat Bomb into Slosh True combo for a Splat. However, that does not mean that the weapon is not good. It still covers up turf really well. You still have Ink Armor, which has not been changed. Well, the Ink Armor has been changed, but not the gain of it. I'll say that. So it's still a very strong option to select and consider for your team comp. But here we go, finally going in. No DCs this time. 2 STDx, Vapid Blaster and Tri-Slosher going in, and looks like STDx is the first one to really get in Vapid Blaster, putting on pressure over the ledge. That way, if anybody's hiding under it, there's gonna be pressure on them. We have a trade over to the right side. STDx takes control or blows up the Rainmaker's shield, but it looks like it's going to be Kairos to actually take it, and until that bucket ends up losing control. And instead of grabbing the Rainmaker, actually, for those of you guys who don't know, if the Rainmaker's shield is exploded in the middle, it does not reset. The shield will stay off until it's grabbed. The only time the reset counter goes down is when it's been taken from the middle. And there we go. Kairos is the first one to literally take the Rainmaker and run with it. That was great. Talk about a mad dash.
Yeah, and, you know, I can understand why they did that. They had a little bit of an advantage, but the last one just happened to be in the one spot they did not want them to be there. Also, for those of you watching at home who aren't as familiar with the players that are up right now, the Arrows is going to be Pengit, maybe a name you're familiar with. Barista is Hexen, so this isn't an entire team of people that we've never heard. They just enjoy changing up the team names here. But now we're finally going to see two come in, and this might be a push. They're putting some resources here. They're going to try to go for this box jump that we talked about earlier. Ice going to take the lead here. Ice not yet an Inkjet, unfortunately, and they aren't able to make the box jump either. Going to take out Red, unfortunately being stuck there between a rock and a rock, and right now, if Ice can get one or two of these kills, it'll really spur a big push. Not going to be able to. Great defense there by Kairos, and we're returning back to a neutral situation.
I feel bad for him because Ice is putting this hard out there trying to get that KO, but unfortunately a heavy Splatling coming in as well is not going to really help him out there. They do get the Rainmaker down into that pit, which is going to make it a little tougher for STDx to bring it back for themselves. And we see somebody actually running, and it was caught, but not able to actually put pressure on him. But the Rainmaker is sitting there. The question is, will they be able to get the turf control so they can push it up? It's Blaster v Blaster over there, and it is snatched up, and they do take the lead. I love this play by Kairos. They're playing the whole hit-and-run mentality. Double Splat Bomb going out. Ink Armor is going around STDx. The Rainmaker is in their turf. And the new and improved Stingray putting pressure not only on the opponent, but damaging and blowing up the shield as well from the Rainmaker.
You know, it's really interesting, this Wave thing here. I'm glad that you pointed it out. Every time they put somebody there by the Rainmaker, that kind of diverts the attention away. And every time the person who has stopped the Rainmaker, with the exception of this last time, goes down as a result. So, you know, maybe they've got something here figured out where they continue to put pressure, continue to take eyes away from the middle so they can keep bringing in flanks. And unfortunately, that bucket not going to be able to get the kill and keep that chain going that we were talking about. Ice here going to grab the Rainmaker. They are going to be able to get a little bit of pressure here on the box. Are they going to be able to make the jump? It looks like Red going to go down. Moving here, going to be 3 down. Ice going to move it up there, not going to get any further. But still, that's the first big push. I won't even call it a big push, but first really big offensive push we've seen all day.
Exactly, and if unfortunately the bucket was right there, because if he was not there, that would have been another quick jump over to the ledge and would have made a mad dash down that corridor, which is very tight to get to. The Rainmaker is grabbed by Kairos, lost immediately by Kairos, and now the Rainmaker is still in a position for STDx to really take control of this. They do blow up the shield, take up the mini area. That is a wipe, and they are pushing right now down that corridor I was talking about. The bucket is protecting it right now, but the heavy Splatling gets past the bucket and snipes out the Rainmaker, but still sitting at 34 points, really tight position for them to come up. Like, even if Kairos has to, Kairos does grab it, at best, what they're going to do is just jump off the ledge and quickly reset it. Otherwise, that fight out that corner is going to be really tight. We're going to see how they choose to approach it, though. They do have control, and they're going to try to carry it. All right.
Yep, they're going to do that. They just know that the pressure is going to continue coming, and already we see more pressure coming up here. That's that double T-Tech comp for you. Always someone there, so they're trying to move it out just a little bit. But I want to talk about that initial push. I want to talk about Pengit finding a way to get around back there and continue putting the pressure on, really spurring that push to get in the 30s, because there is a world difference between the 30s on a map like this with that corridor. But now Kairos has done a great job. They've actually managed to push themselves back into the middle. Ice might be able to get a stop here. No, they are able to get Ice. Suddenly this is looking like a really great push, not only taking it out, but maybe mounting an offense of their own.
Here it is. They're taking the same corridor that STDx is taking, and they're pushing it. If they're able to hold it down, get down this corridor, they will be able to take this lead. It's all right here. They're going above, getting on the block. A team wipe. A team wipe on their very last of offense with only 17 seconds left. All their team is knocked out, and they have firm control. He's behind the wall. It's not look like they're going to be able to do it. You're going to see him just keep throwing out the Rainmaker, keep launching it, and just putting out walls that they cannot approach. 3, 2, 1, and unfortunately with a splat against Kairos, nice push. They were not able to keep control. STDx with a very close win.
And credit to Hexen for that incredibly clutch shot there, but you have to wonder, they only needed a few more points. you have to wonder if side push wouldn't have gotten it there. I mean, you know, 1,000,001 things can happen in a second in this game, so I don't want to say it, but that's just so close. An amazing job by Hexen there. You see there with the 16 KA getting the most important kill of the match there on the Rainmaker, and wow. Talk about bending but not breaking. STDx up 1-0 here, but credit to Kairos. That was just one misplay from them being up 1-0, but unfortunately, you got to collect yourself. It almost doesn't count in this game. Port Mackerel game 2.
Also, I do want to correct myself. It turns out that I was giving out misinformation. While the initial slosh from the Tri-Slosher does KO, Splat Bomb into slosh still does KO thanks to the damage. So there you go. My mistake. I will correct it and I will know for the future reference. So sorry to everybody who may have heard wrong. Right. But I do want to say it do have to be direct KOs. Direct hits.
Yes, it does be a direct hit there, or else you will not get the damage. Although, I don't know, upper 90s very often registers as a kill because of latency. But Port Mackerel now, Splat Zones here. If there's one thing there, Kairos, and one thing that can happen in Rainmaker, with Rainmaker, it's really the mode that if you get one series of good plays, you can go from a bunch down to suddenly very up extremely quickly. That's one reason why people like Rainmaker. It's a very exciting mode to watch for that. This, not so much. Port Mackerel, especially Splat Zones, you see this shift all the time here. So Kairos really got their big push at the very end from just one series of solid plays. They're going to need to put together a few more of those if they want to take this. And if you're STDx, I would not be surprised if they rolled out with the exact same comp. Very strong on this map and mode.
Yeah, Port Mackerel is going to be a map similar to how we saw earlier with Splat Zones on Surgeon Shipyard, where you first of all, when you get splat control, it's pretty easy to be able to hold down a wall in your enemy's base to make sure they cannot approach that Splat Zone. At the same time, thanks to how much opened up Port Mackerel has become in Splatoon 2, you can get around to a quick flank. It's happened plenty of times where everybody's in that pit right below their area, and then one person gets by and ends up taking over the zone. It's like, oh, I'm bamboozled. What happened? No pun intended with the bamboozler, but I'm bamboozled. Rip. What happened? Like we got caught up. But we're gonna see what happens. The team comp is actually pretty changed up. We have the Emperor Splat Dualies and the Splat Charger coming out, Fireframe Splat Charger coming out from STDx, and it looks like we have a lot of the NZAP coming out for Kairos right now. So now they're gonna have a little bit of ink armor under control.
Yeah, a little bit of ink armor there, and they actually are able to utilize that control to get themselves a lead here. I want to talk about them bringing in the Charger here. That is the Power, one of the most notable Chargers, especially in the Western scene, going to come out here. And, you know, you understand why. It's the Fire Fin. It does have that suction bomb rush that we were talking about here. Gonna have to be careful because in this situation, I almost like the pick of the Splatling a little bit more, putting in work here at the start. They do lose the zone, but you have to be encouraged by what you've seen. Although they are going down pretty quick here, and the lead is going to go back. Let's see where they set up their Sharks.
And we do want to mention that the Inkjet, that's another reason why the Inkjet is really good on Port Mackerel. Shout outs to the Rose by the Emperor Dually. Love seeing the Dually do dually things. But the Inkjet, when you're in that air, you can get on top of the other boxes and propel yourself even higher than you normally would have been. Quick rolling by the roller right there, trying to get a KO, but unfortunately the roller is a shell of its former self and not be able to get that KO.
I'm actually really surprised they were able to get the kill there through the ink armor there. Shoutouts to ink armor nerfs, but unfortunately not able to get a whole lot of sustainable control off of it. And you already see Power, that Charger, going to be sitting on that suction bomb rush rather, as unfortunately the Emperor Dually is going to get cornered and taken out hard. And I guess opting to save it or use it at a different time. Penga going to come back in now, get taken out as well. So again, very strong play coming back in here by Kairos, showing that they do deserve to compete. Giver trying to find a way back here, putting a little pressure on the left, trying to move right, giving Power a little bit of support here, but they aren't getting a whole lot of sustainable support, and they aren't getting kills at the moment either.
Yeah, Kevin right here looks like he doesn't really know where to go. It's more so just checking the aisles and seeing what happens. He does have his inkjet going, catches him through the armor and blows back the heavy Splatling. That was insane. We're going to see, here's the launch of it, and right now you can see him going on top of it. You get propelled higher depending on the item that you're sitting on, you're rappelling off, because it's not just like you just fly up in the air. You're actually pushing yourself up off the ground thanks to the ink. Which, by the way, the damage from the inkjet also got nerfed. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't explain it. But they do lose control. It is pretty close. Actually, yeah. STDx still has control right now, 26 points. Kairos not looking too poor right now with 58 points, but they have to get control back. And being down 1 right now is not looking quite good for them to really push it forward. They have 22 Splatoon seconds, I'll say, to make it happen. And it's looking kind of tough. That Stingray is going to have to do some damage if we do it now.
Now, what great movement there by Pengy. You saw Pengy getting 2 very important kills there in the zone. But Jeremy gonna do just enough. Gonna stop and take the zone. Power gonna get the kill, but it's too little too late in terms of the zone. Gonna get another one as well. Actually, might take the zone back by himself or at least neutralize it there. Wow, what an amazing play by that Rapid Blaster, one of the biggest weapons in this early meta. Not a whole lot of long-range counterparts.
Along with the Stingray came through as well and put them all against the corner because they were blowing away. And the Rapid Blaster came through and said, all right, blast, 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 and he put that penalty back on them. STDx does have control again, but they have to work on that penalty counter of 40 seconds. So they got a little, Kairos has a little bit of time to work with, and they are losing control. There we go. Penalty points thrown right back on them. Stingray putting a lot of pressure on Power right now, not able to really do much. And is just trying to make cover turf so his team can go in. But he does have a special ready, which is the suction bombs. If he can get himself a good point, he can take that back for his team quite easily.
Yes, and you almost wonder if this this aggressive comp, it's not double T-Tech anymore, it's T-Tech and M-Parries, but it's functionally the same. You almost wonder if it hasn't turned into an overextension, because you see both of the shooters going in and getting taken out very quickly, and with that, their painting prowess goes too. Just 26 Splatoon seconds left. That's actually not a lot here. We're going to see another Stingray being able to be used here if they so choose to. Instead, going to take it back first as more continue to go down on both sides. Just over 10 seconds left they have to get. They take it back again. This would be a huge comeback if they get it. Red going to go down on the side. Pengy going to crash into the middle. They still don't have the zone yet, but neither does the other side. They lose it again. Just a few seconds left, and Pengy going to go down. That's going to be the lead and also the win. What a comeback from Kairos.
I have to give it. The MVP of that match was definitely Gamer. He had his special, and most people that had his special don't run back and try to activate it. No, he realized where he had to play. He realized his role in that scenario. He had to make sure he kept Ink on the zone, or he had to make sure he was cutting off approaches, and that's all he was doing. Gamer himself held it down for his team in that crucial final moments. Shouts to him, shouts to Kairos. We are guaranteed a game 4, but right now moving on to game 3, which is going to be tower control on Monte Maria, and this one, if they're going to play anything like we just saw from the past 2 games, Monte Maria tower controls is going to be one heck of a battle between both teams. Both taking point, both battling for control, which is very hard to do and easy to do at the same time in that main pit of Monte Maria. You have the grate, but you can just use like a slosher or a bucket or a brush to just cover up a whole bunch of area in that a bunch of ink in that immediate area and just do a lot of coverage for your team. These two are going to be going in, and I can't wait to see how it plays out.
It's going to be amazing. Both of these games coming very, very close, right down to the very end. But I want to go back and talk a little bit more about that port macro game, right? Early on in the game, we saw Gamer overextend and get taken by Kivr. I believe you made the call out there that Kivr got the kill on the Splatling there. And that was what really spurned that big initial lead for STDx. Right after that, did we see Gamer overextend? No. We didn't see it at all. All we saw Gamer do, like you said, was hold it down, herd people, continue to paint the zone, and that is what made the difference there. We talked about the long-range prowess that can happen. We talked early on in the game about how much painting you can do with that as opposed to a charger. And just like we saw, the Hydra, or I'm sorry, not the Hydra, the Splatling, MVP. So, amazing play there, and that just goes to show how you play with your weapon is just as important as what you pick.
Exactly, that heavy Splatling, a weapon that is really, excuse me, a weapon that is pretty polarizing, because the large charge time up can hurt you a little bit, but Gamer, if you are a master of your craft, you do the darn thing, and he did it. He knew his play, and not to mention he was in prime position to not only remain safe, unless a blaster was catching him at a bad position. Unless that happened, he was pretty safe to keep covering turf, both on the left and right side, and you know they're also calling out spots while they're in the mic with each other. That was just fantastic play by all of them. I can't praise him enough. Gamer was definitely the MVP of that one.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what high-level Splatoon looks like. This is what happens when two extremely proficient, strong, and punishing teams, when they collide, this is what it looks like.
Exactly.
Two extremely close games, points and small plays being the difference. And like, you're hyped for this map and mode, I'm hyped for it as well. Tower control. And we do see the Rapid Blaster coming out again from Hexen. No blasters here. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Jeremy going to stick on it. This should be two very aggressive team comps. Can't wait to see it.
Bro, I want you to know, I am trying my best to remain composed, but I am giddy inside. This has been some great matches, and they're already going in. We're coming in a little bit, pull it back, but they're already going in. 2 KOs trading between the Heavy Splat Link and the Tenatech, and both Tenatechs are down actually on Team STDx, and right now, we're going to see them try to pull it out. Ink Armor is launched out for the team. Gets a KO with a rapid slosh of ink between them. Gamer trading. That I don't even know how, but with 3v2, and I'm pretty sure the two are still coming from the base. They are pushing. The Rapid Blaster has the room to throw a barrage of bombs right now and push them back even more. And there it is. The bomb rush is launching. Coming a lot of trouble, but the Slosher catches him from behind and puts it into that. And now Reziel gets shut down thanks to his KO upon him. Trades? Look at this. But see, this is just great gameplay right there. They are covering for their partner's weaknesses. They see where they're messing up at, and they literally have each other's backs.
Communication so important here. Jeremy, unfortunately, very bad position there, and you can't stay in one spot too long here against these teams. They will call you out, and they will find different ways to pincer you in. One of the best things that you can do in this game when you have somebody called out like that. But let's keep an eye here on Kiver. I think that Kiver's probably gonna, yes, okay, Kiver does hop off here to try to put some pressure, but I think Kiver's been getting just a little bit too aggressive. We've been saying it a lot. Both T-Techs down, and again, another time, the T-Tech's gonna go down here. They need the pressure that the T-Techs provide, and they can't do that if they keep dying. And once again, another push gonna get stalled out.
It's all about when you're going to oppose a Tenatech act. I mean, you have seen times, or at least I have seen times, where you're playing online and you see Tenatech with 20 kills, 23 splats, 25 splats. They can get those hits. It's all about how you pick your spots. The Rapid Blaster catching it off guard. It looks like it's Rapid Blaster re-blaster and ends up, well, actually getting caught up by a Tenatech, which is how you want to play it. Unfortunately, gets caught under the tower. But right now, Kairos is making a push. 78 points, and they are off the tower. Nobody's there. No! Reziel gets back on and takes the lead for his team and is now soloing the tower on his own, but jumps off it to put a little pressure on the team. Not able to win the range war versus the Rapid Blaster, and unfortunately he does lose that. But still, he was able to push it for his team. Shout out to Kairos for that. To Reziel for that one.
Smart play there by Hexen here with the Barista tag, hiding just long enough to, really make Jeremy just kind of move back and say, okay, I guess nobody's there. Doing a great job. If Jeremy had gotten that kill, that push might still be going on right now. But now Penguin's going to try to put just a little bit more pressure here. They have had a devil of a time trying to move Gamer there on that right side. That Splatling, again, we've said the name so many times, but that's really been the main culprit. And once again, going to get taken out here. The Rapid Blasters putting in major work. And once again, it's Kairos going on the offensive here with the push. Flat out another on this side. Here comes the Splat Bomb. This is just continuing over and over, and they're going to be able to push it just a little bit further here. Might even be able to get it to the second checkpoint.
High level Splatoon is pretty explosive. Like, not being punny that one either. It's literally just if you look at the field, there's a bunch of just explosions happening, ink flying everywhere. The turf can change control at any moment. Kairos did get a bit more push though and get to 62, but right now STDx is running with control of the map, and right now they're pushing the tower into their first checkpoint, unless you jump off at the last second, all right?
You know, they understand why they have to do it. That alleyway is very, very condensed, and it's very difficult. They know that there's no point just sitting on that tower when all the guns are going to be there. You're going to get taken out. We talk about the anatomy of push. You know that if you have to take this left side if you want to make this a sustainable push, and that's what they need at this point. They don't need the little stuff. They know that they have to put pressure on that left side, and you see that's why Penguin's trying to put some ink up there right now. They're going to get the lead off this, but they're going to need a little bit more here. I don't think 58 is going to be a safe push, so they're going to continue moving this. Ice saving the last shot
great.
of that and getting a kill. What a great individual play.
That was so amazing for him. He had two things lined up for him. he had the inkjet signed up, he had the inkjet launched from the tower, excuse me. So that means that when it exploded, he was going to jump in the air and get out of any potential situations. After he took the lead for his team, he immediately put pressure on them. And then when he realized, okay, I got his KO, let me fall back onto the tower and push this tower a little bit more. So he individually pushed that tower for himself along with his team, but just pushed it to that 45. STDx is now back in control, although Gamer's launching that new killer whale, Stingray 2.0, and putting on a lot of pressure on his team. And we have a team, or near team wipe. I think that was a team wipe for like half a second, but right now STDx is trying to just keep pushing it or just play defense. With only 7 seconds left, it's very unlikely that Kairos is going to get something going on right now. Raziel is making a beeline for it. He's actually on the tower and immediately loses it. All right, well, I was excited for a last second.
Nothing doing there at the end, but, you know, we'll almost call this the spoils of war. They made that big push, but as they made that big push, they also took the entire map along with it. See there, Bangit doing a great job again. 18 KA, 5 ink armors for the team. But once they made that big push, they were smart, they were conscious enough, they trickled back in and took the map, shutting down anything bad that could have happened before it got shut down. And once they put that Splatling up there at the top by themselves, able to take that out. A much more convincing game, I will say, than we've seen in the other 2 games going to STDx.
That game, I mean, it was well played by both of them. Like, Kairos may have had to hold that L for that round, but that's not to take anything away from them. They made a great push, and again, I believe it was Raziel who immediately got them the lead immediately with that great push, and then when he realized he got the push, he played defense because he had to make sure that he played the game. It's just that when they got that near team KO, everybody was back near their base, and STDx was able to push that back into 42, and at such little time left to make a good push, Kairos was just, you know, against the wall. With an empty ink cartridge, so to speak. Like, they didn't have anything to really pull out. So right now, we are going to be moving on to Rainmaker on Reef. We've only seen the Reef once, I believe. We've only seen it once, and this one is going to be difficult because the Rainmaker is stuck under that bridge.
Not only is it stuck under that bridge, but this is one of those maps, we talked about this earlier, where you have to pick a side and the opposing team has to also try to put some resources there. Everyone loves to take this down that left alleyway, and oftentimes that's where a quick push from the start will go. But the thing is, everyone knows that that's going to be happening. That's almost the base of operations in this map. You know you've got to do something about that. You've got to keep somebody over there. So then the question becomes, do you just try to brute force your way through, or do you get a little creative? Do you try to go up that middle area? Because believe me, you can still get a lot of points there, and you can even make a jump straight to the pedestal, the top of the pedestal, from there. But then again, that's more open. So what do? Do you put all your resources in the closed area where bullets and bombs just fly down and you don't have a lot of places to go? Or do you try to bait people that way and then take it up the mid and get big points from there? It's something that I think the Reef does better than any other map in Splatoon 2, and provided that this isn't a very quick team wipe and take up the left, I think that it's the most exciting map and mode to play, well, map to play this mode on.
And it's all about, I mean, we were talking about where bombs and stuff are flying. Most maps regarding to Rainmaker or even Tower Control, most maps have what I like to call a pit of war. It's basically the main area where a lot of ink can just start flying, bombs are thrown, because you're most likely to get a KO there. The Reef has 2. Unfortunately, one of them is right where the Rainmaker sits. And the second one is actually like right above that platform where you can go over there. Now, as you were saying earlier, there's 2 ways to approach this. The left one, which is a straight run to the alleyway, or you could be a little risky and choose to go up your opponent's ramp, which is another pit of war. Because again, it's a big square that's on a platform. So if they have to fall off, then you're pushing them back no matter what. And if you can make that leap from that second platform near your opponent's base, you can actually land immediately on the pedestal, saving you that time of the animation of throwing down the Rainmaker, which is, you know, makes it a lot quicker. So which way do you choose to do? But you have to make sure you have all your bases covered. And fortunately, or unfortunately, if you get caught with a team wipe, they have so many ways of just making an immediate push or a quick push, either down that alley or through that pit. And it's going to be tough, but I can't wait to see how these teams employ it because of all the ways that you can just cover this. Rainmaker Reef is going to be intense. I think that's the best way to say it. It's going to be intense.
It is going to be intense. I can't wait to see it. I love that we could potentially decide the set here with it. I mean, a game-winning set. It's not a game 5, but hey, it's match point for one of these teams. And if you're Kairos, you know, I think you have to look at the very first Rainmaker. You have to look at how close you got to winning it. Sure, maybe it was a last-second thing, but you still got close. You have to know that despite the way that went, you've been very close. You've been going blow for blow, and be confident. You've done it. You've done it well. You've got to win, and it was a very tight-knit win as well. So as long as they don't fall apart, or I suppose I should say this about either team, as long as neither team goes in too hard at the very beginning, I think we should see a long and drawn-out battle here. But one thing I have to give a shout-out to right now, on the other side of the bracket, Team Olive versus Silver Sanctioned Saikai, the 2 and 7 seeds. Silver Sanctioned Saikai getting the 3-1 victory over Team Olive. Silver Sanction, another one of those teams that when they first formed here and when they first got sponsored, they got some big wins, but they haven't got that big tournament win yet. With a win over Team Olive, they have settled, I mean, they've put themselves in a great position to make that big statement win, so congratulations to them. And what a tournament this is turning out to be.
Actually, I was going to ask you real quick, but I'm still going to ask you, what weapons do you think is going to be the most advantageous to this main mode? I mean, to this mode combination, map combination.
I think, honestly, I would err on the side of STDx in this situation. You've got more mobility in this situation. You've got more firepower. Inkjets can do a great job of putting pressure on those ramps. I like STDx's comp a lot more, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. If the STDx get too overzealous, like we see right there, you lose the advantage that the weapon gives you.
Right now, actually, that's a good idea. See them bringing out the Toxic Cloud. There's actually a lot of areas where that Toxic Cloud makes it a great place for you to just completely cut off an approach or a defensive option for the other team, because it covers up a wide area in a lot of places as long as you place it properly. Like right now, the Toxic Cloud is right there, and that cloud basically became a no-8 zone for Team Kairos. That 8 jet going through there right now. And we're getting that quick KO and saving himself a lot of time. Saving the Rainmakers so that Kairos can stop their push, which I realize Kairos just loves doing. They get the Rainmakers, it's like, hey, let's make a mad dash. I don't mind it. It's a risky strategy, but you know what? Sometimes resetting that Rainmaker shield is the best idea. Wow,
it is,
nice.
And now you're starting to see the power that comes with the STDx. Gonna go for a trade there, but that's 3 down. They're gonna get a chance. You see a lot of yellow here. None of them have grabbed it, but I think they're okay with it because they see all the map that they're about to get. Unfortunately, Red gonna make a great play there on that left alleyway that you can just barely see there off to the top of your screen. They did a great job of taking that out because that is what they were trying to do. Now the last one left is gonna be Pengit. Pengit gonna be able to take out Red, but the map advantage that they lost there, the gambit almost, if you will, that they made, and not pushing the Rainmaker and instead taking the map, gonna be lost. Another great defense by Kairos.
Yeah, Red was definitely making a good play right there. Unfortunately, did get caught up. And, oh, that was unfortunate to see him first person. I guess third person, but that was just devastating. But right now, we do see Pingit trying to put pressure on Red so that he can't do what he wants. And seeing a bucket re-roller battle, that's pretty intense. Fortunately for STDx, they do make a push, and now they're making a big lead. Unfortunately, gets caught by the Rapid Blaster, and Pingit having something to say about it. Say, oh, what you doing to my friend? Did you splat my cousin? Nah, let me get this splat bomb real quick. But still, regardless, they are making a push, and it's sitting there. The ink around the Rainmaker is in Kairos' favor, but looks like that's Keever. That's Keever actually making, saying something about it, going way in the turf with his splatter shot. And not able to do much, but still able to push him back. And that Rainmaker was actually pushed forward in STD's favor.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier. You just kind of brute force your way through, and that is what STDx did in that situation. They just kept putting guns and bombs there until they were able to get a push. They do pay for it with the team wipe, but they were able to get back quick enough that they didn't lose a lot of map for it, so you take that every day of the week here. But now you're going to see Gamer maybe make a mad dash. Is Gamer going to be able to get it? No!
I was going to say,
miss it.
This is one of those pit awards I was talking about, that where you could make a mad dash up there. Oh my God!
Great individual play!
Wow! I love it! This mad dash that Kairos loves to do with the Rainmaker. They just see it and they just go for it. You know what? I like that mentality though. All points are good points. In this case, those good points were enough to give them the lead. Razia once again being the man. I assume he has like 10 ink resistance to this one speed up. And he just keeps doing it every single time, and I love it.
amazing. And if you're STDx, you have to be kicking yourself. You were the ones who popped that. That was entirely made because you chose to pop it inside that danger zone and not able to get the kill here. So, I mean, man, you have to be frustrated, but now the onus is back on you. And if you are Kairos, you get to play defense now, which is a lot easier than the alternative. Gamer overextending just a little bit, and Kipper going to make him pay for it. But now they've got to get something figured out here. There is a splash down here from Kipper. They might be able to make a dash here if Kipper chooses to go up there. The Rapid Blaster of Jeremy is set up. They got to get up on top of that ramp there, and boy,
oh, good Gamer right here with the flank. How often do you see a heavy splat lead make a flank? But darn it, he did it. Right then and there, and he's taking out everybody. 4v3 of 75% team wipe, and Gamer is the one pushing it down the alley, trying to make sure. Well, almost had it, but still, that one person that he left alone was his undoing. But still, that was a great KO on the team of STDx by Gamer and all Kairos.
Yeah, they did exactly what they needed to do there. Great positioning. Sometimes you just have to take a different way to it. Pengit gonna try to do the best to spawn to get things going here, but Gamer once again coming down and getting the splat. Gamer again being the MVP with just over 20 seconds left to play. They might just run this back. No, they're gonna run it again. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite them. Jeremy gonna play defense, but Jeremy gonna get taken down as well, and this is really it. If you are STDx, you need to find a way to get 2 down, and you have to know where Gamer is. Gamer's gonna be able to sit up there at the top and take out anyone that they so choose, and you're gonna see Red trying to make a mad, gonna get taken out, the splashdown, not enough, but I don't know that they have the resources to make a push right now. They're gonna have to wait for the team to spawn. Gamer again coming in, and I think Gamer got it.
That new killer whale. Once again, Gamer coming through, making amazing plays for his team. And that new killer whale with the extended hit radius of that when it starts screeching at you, it is devastating. And he was trying to run away, but fortunately, he just kept making left, right movements and was able to get the KO. Really good game by them. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't care who wins or loses. I just want a Game 5, and guess what we got? Game 5 on arguably one of the best or worst modes in this entire game, depending on how you're thinking about it. Splat zones on humpback pump track, but that last game, oh man, that was a really well played game by both of them. But just the mad dash that Kairos loves to do. Shouts to the mad dash they love to do. Rabiel just hitting it, grabbing it, running with it. That's all they needed. That was that one mad dash is all they needed to really get into that.
And it was such a heads up play too, to know that it was already popped, know that you're dead anyway. Why not? I mean, they opened the door. They didn't open it by much, but they opened it, knocked that door open, walked it on through. And if you're Kairos, Splat Zones, you got the win the last time that this was here. You won on Splat Zones. It's a different map, sure, but you've proven that you can play here, and Kairos 1 game away from producing what I think would be the biggest upset of the tournament, with all due respect to C Sharp. To see STDx go down here would be incredible, and like you said, I don't have a dog in this fight. I want a Game 5. We got a Game 5, and I mean, here it is. If this is not getting you excited, chat, I don't know what you want.
Y'all have to be tweeting
this
this
top
out.
level Splatoon.
And I do want to mention, you said that they did get a win on Splat Zone and Port Mackerel, but you have to admit, Port Mackerel and Humpback Pump Track Splat Zones are 2 almost completely different beasts. The objective is the same, but the options you have available are going to be devastating. Now, you do have those 2 walls that are going to be there to separate them two. Otherwise, the Splat Zones on Humpback are a lot more open and more accessible to just buckets and charges and all of that. Inkstorm, we may even see an Inkstorm because this is actually very free to go onto the side and just toss it and have that cover up the entire zone. And with a few charger shots, you have control over it. You can also force your opponent back because if you have that control, you can cover up all their points that they'll want to take you out and just put pressure on them. It's all about how they choose to employ their weapons, what weapon they choose to choose, and how much they're not afraid to go into that fight. And as we're going to tell by STDx and by Kairos, they both have close range weapons with the roller and the N-Zap on Kairos, with the Tri-Slasher and the Splatter Shot Jr. by STDx, armor out the wazoo, ink coverage out the wazoo. They understand the best way to play this, and immediately in 10 seconds, STDx takes control, but then loses it in less than 5. So it's a lot of ink is going to be flying on this one.
One thing that we're going to have to mention, I hope that this doesn't be the story of the match. Gamer switched off of the Splatling here, putting all of the long-range pressure, all that responsibility on Jeremy with the Rapid Blaster. I mean, I understand why you wouldn't run it here, but Gamer's been your MVP. Let's hope that that doesn't become their undoing. You see this very aggressive comp that is being run out by STDx. Kiver going and trying to get this splat on Jeremy on the left side. We're going to see Pengit here putting more pressure here on the right side as well. They've got people, they've got ink everywhere, and another inkjet going to come in. Not going to be able to take down that Tri-Slosher's reach, just not quite enough. Gamer proving me wrong, getting 2 very important kills. They've still got some fight left in them.
And this is when the roller right now is going to really shine. Like, albeit the roller can't take turf well in Splatoon 2, unfortunately. However, when he has the room to work around with, he can get in and either take turf back quickly or get some quick KOs if you have your aim right. Just like right there, getting the KO on STD Kiver and also getting the KO in on Pingit, but unfortunately missing out to the Slosher because Slosher OP, please nerf more.
I was going to say, well, they listened. But trying to go just a little bit too hard at Jeremy. Jeremy doing a great job of backing up, and that overextension might come back to bite them a little bit if Kiver's not able to get this kill. I don't think Kiver was. They're going to be able to get close to taking their penalty down, but then they're going to lose it right back. And unfortunately, another one going down, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Great job by Jeremy kind of being that anchor that we talked about. These splat bombs are going to come in, these suction bombs rather, not going to be able to do a whole lot, going to get neutralized fairly quickly. And we're just 20 seconds away from a lead for Kairos. This is starting to get scary.
They're holding it down. And again, this is what I was saying. This whole place is wide open. The charger right now, it looks like Power is actually the one to charge right now. Just cover up a lot of turf and keeping point for his team. We have Pingit over there putting pressure and making sure that Ink is covered with his bucket and just applying defensive presence with his team as well with the charger. I mean, sorry, the Ink armor. Throwing the ink over the ledges that way they can't have a safe approach. And Pingit also looks like he's keeping an eye on the entire field. He sees someone approaching, and immediately he's just like, all right, I need to get over there. I need to throw a bomb just to make sure I cut off their immediate approach and immediate distance. And then when they try to run away, I'm there with the Slosher to try and hopefully get a KO.
You know, it seems like every time we talk about the great plays that one team makes, the other team immediately makes a string of great plays and takes it back. This map moving so quick. But one thing that I want to say, right now, the job that has to be done by STDx is they have to find a way to either move or neutralize Jeremy. Jeremy has been the dominating force in this map for them. Everyone else kind of doing the great job of painting. But once again, Jeremy going to get another kill. They finally take out Jeremy, but they've got to get their zone here, and I believe both shooters are still up. They're able to get another, but they've got to neutralize this zone. They don't have long. Unfortunately, Red walking right in, and they are going to take it back instead. Perhaps the most important penalty that we've seen so far in this tournament. Great play there, great composure by Kiver and the rest of STDx.
Speaking of composure, you know that Kairos is kind of kicking himself right now, but they have to keep theirs if they want to bring it back. We see right now that Kairos ended up getting a KO and called his friend and said, hey, there was still somebody over there, and immediately Red was right there to get the KO. And I love how he's playing this map right now with this flat roller. He is using the cone bombs, getting himself in. Immediate splash out on the center, but there's not enough coverage to actually neutralize the center. But it's still put up a lot of pressure, running around with his roller, and we have actually the KO by Power, and before he's able to launch a suction bomb and keep himself safe with the splash wall, Red is actually still there and gets the KO, but KO'd himself by Pingit, and they lead up, actually, they have punishment of 9 seconds. What happened?
Yeah, no, they held on to it just long enough, but this is, I mean, this is starting to get into the danger zone. You know you're not going to get many chances. You've been going back and forth, but eventually you're going to run out of time before you run out of real estate. But now, here it is. This should be the end of the penalty here for Kairos. They're going to get a chance here. If they get one more 2 or 3 down, this will be the lead they need. A lot of resources going on this left side. They take one out. Pengit's going to have to do it. No, Pengit's not going to do it. I don't know if this
I mean, the
ink
is there. They have 12. They have to take this now. 9. Kairos has control. It's not going to be it. 4 seconds, please. They could take. They lose control. The punishment is put onto them. Wow! Wait, oh my God. Okay, right now, STDx has to keep this control. We are literally going in overtime. We have 10 seconds left on this. They cannot let down. No team, all these players are up right now. Nobody doing anything. Kairos gets control back. 3, 2, wait. Okay, I didn't know we were going to go to overtime or not, but it doesn't because it wasn't neutralized. Kairos takes it.
They did it! What incredible composure. We talked about the plays that they had to make, and I think that it was Gamer there at the end on the left side. They put 2 people on the left side. One of them went down, but Gamer was able to take out the other 2. I think it was Gamer, at least. It was either Gamer or Raziel, one of the 2. But
it was
what
Gamer.
An incredible upset by... It was Gamer, okay. What an incredible upset by Kairos, keeping their composure over and over and over, getting the kills they needed, even after they lost it there at the very end, even letting it go to overtime. And what an upset! Kairos taking it over the Inkstorm Plus champions and our top seed STDx.
I want to be there for that celebration. I mean, don't celebrate too much. You still got a long way to go to get to that #1 spot. But you know what? That is a big victory. Congratulations to Kairos. But you know what? Taking nothing away from STDx, they gave them a run for their money. Both teams showed up and showed out. They came there with guns of, well, NZAPs are blazing, all right? Ink are flowing right now. Everybody going in right now, and I can't blame them. That was, first of all, it's a big tournament, big prize, top players, and you, Kairos, went up against STDx, and I'm sure STDx is taking nobody lightly. They are #1 for a reason. They consider everybody a threat. But with that said, that final push, I said it, I got what I expected. That center was a war zone, or it was the war zone of Ink. Just explosions everywhere, trays happening, inklings just blowing up. It was an insane match, but you know what? Shout out and much praise to Kairos for pulling that off, and give a round of applause to STDx as well. Both of them just did the darn thing, and I'm so happy I was here to call that match. That was a treat.
So many amazing sets here in the early days of Splatoon 2. You gotta remember, this game isn't even 2 months old yet.